to be interested in directed energy weapons immediately following the assassination of President Kennedy. In Chapter 9, on page 227, it goes into, well, it starts on 226. It goes into how the Secret Service got all the DOD information, all of the different think tanks that offered papers written about what the Secret Service should do to increase security measures and all sorts of things. And it really explains very clearly why the Secret Service transitioned to directed energy weapons. There was also a very good article in U.S. News and World Report from 2002 called The Secrets of the Service. And that article explains what the environment is inside the Secret Service. It goes into how there is an enormous amount of corruption and zero accountability within the agency, which kind of explains why a lot of the victims have been abused for so long without some sort of, I don't know, some sort of intervention by someone higher up in the agency. It's just it's very frightening to understand that there are people who have protective mission-capable technologies without any sort of regard for anyone's rights. I'm not sure if a lot of the victims have realized it, but the directed energy weapons, when they're used on someone when they're inside a structure, the only way that those can be used on them is if the feds are using a wall-penetrating surveillance system to target them. And so it's not only that they're being assaulted, but they're also being observed 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, all the time. And
go ahead.
It's just really a very oppressive, very assaultive type of an observation to begin with. But then you add on top of that the pain and the discomforts, the other discomforts, and it's horrible.
It is horrible, I know, because I've been through it. I'm still going through it. When you talk about John F. Kennedy, wasn't he assassinated around the time that he was trying to expose these crimes and warn the public that this was taking place?
No, I think that it was, there were some other things going on at that point in time. He was trying to reduce the size of the military and the military-industrial complex.
But he was trying to expose this. I've been told, and I've seen on YouTube, that he was trying to expose this to the public. In addition to these other things, of course, I don't think it's just to blame for his assassination, but I do believe it might have had something to do with it. He did try to reveal.
I don't know anything about that. I just know he was challenging the military-industrial complex, and he was in the process of ending the Vietnam conflict, and there were a lot of things that he was doing that a lot of very powerful people did not want to happen.
Well, how is this affecting your life? What's going on with you? Because I know that you filed a lawsuit.
Yeah, it's destroyed my life.
How has it destroyed your life?
Oh, it's personally, economically, psychologically, it's been horrible for me. The feds, I think a lot of the reason for why they've done some of the things that they've done is to damage my credibility, and they've done far more than I could explain here. I've been jailed, I've been prosecuted, there's all sorts of things that they've done. I've been raped, assaulted. The list is just incredibly long. My lawsuit right now is solely to obtain the records of the agency's testing, development, use, misuse, in its entirety, all the records of the agency's possession and use of directed energy weapons of any kind. And at this point, I've made a lot of progress towards proving that they have the weapons. And so far, the agency has been denying that it even has any serious interest in directed energy weapons. In 2003, I was being prosecuted in federal court, and I was adamant to the judge that directed energy weapons had been misused on me for the purpose of coercing me into doing what I was charged with. And he took an uncommon step. It's actually, it was something that he really didn't even have the authority to do. But he ordered the government to provide a sworn declaration from the agency about whether or not they had used any directed energy weapons on anyone, including me. And the agency provided the declaration denying the fact that they had or used any directed energy weapons. And then in 2006, when I was being prosecuted for a different case in state court, I was representing myself, and I located a former employee of the U.S. Secret Service who, when he retired, was the director of their forensic laboratories and their chief forensic scientist. And he retired after almost 24 years. And I got a taped, recorded statement from him acknowledging that the Secret Service not only has directed energy weapons and has tested directed energy weapons, but also already has them fielded for use, domestically and internationally. He specifically stated that he could identify the vehicles that are used to transport those directed energy weapons on site. So it wasn't just a passing familiarity that he had with them. He knew them well. And that's part of my lawsuit at the moment. I submitted that about a month ago to the court, proving that the agency does in fact have and use the weapons, and I'm just waiting on the government's response to what I filed, and then the court's response. And that should take, I don't know, if the government doesn't ask for another continuance, I should have an answer by about the first week of July. And then the court usually takes a couple of weeks, sometimes up to a month, to rule on those items.
And what do you think will be the result? After all these years